Yeah, there you go. Weariness and a headache. Oh, you gotta click me on Higurashi as well. Very professional.
Yeah, I know.
Not a very nice way to start the day.
Thanks, Cage. I understand.
Oh, who is this? Is this his mom or his dad?
Probably his mom.
Probably his mom.
Yeah.
Very professional.
Yeah, totally professional. What the fuck voice am I doing for this?
Just
this
make
chick?
her Mike Wazowski.
Make her Mike Wazowski.
Or not Mike Wazowski. Make her the bitch that's like, always watching.
Always watching.
Yeah, literally.
Mike Wazowski.
Just make her. Make her the librarian, dude.
Keiichi Mayabara. No, I hate it.
This is a certified slug woman moment.
I'm making her shaggy. If anything, she's gonna be shaggy.
Zoinks!
What's wrong, Keiichi? You don't look so. I think the reason I get stuck in Southern is because I am Southern. Going into the Southern.
He can't escape his roots.
Yeah, I mean, I can. What's wrong, Keiichi? You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep?
Wait, Keiichi Brown Note.
Shut up. It's my joke, so shut up.
It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. Yeah, this is the part where Rena starts trying to kill him. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite.
My. You do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it at school?
Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold.
Remember how he said he's never missed a day before?
Yeah. Smile. Smile. I took some medicine and I got a good day, or if I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena.
Rena-chan came to get you. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna take the day off?
Go to school! Go to school! Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. He do be resting. I'll rest. Sorry.
Then I'll go send her off for you.
Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. Remember when she makes them the donuts with the razor blades in them?
I don't remember any razor blades.
Or it's not donuts.
And it's not donuts, it's like saying, it's like,
I'm fucking
I'm
American.
fucking Nigerian saying, man, I love donuts.
I'm fucking American as hell. What do you want from me? They're like what, jelly rolls?
No.
Jelly donuts?
No.
Bagels? Don't worry about it, alright? I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up.
Donuts.
I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off somewhere far away.
Don't have
to
to-
fuck.
I don't have to worry about their voices anymore. Yeah.
Smile. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital."
Insurance card is in the cabinet.
There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't exactly know where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. I'm thinking about dinner. They keep talking about food. I'm thinking about that jambalaya, bro. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Is this where the guy tries to run him over? No, it's not. Erie Clinic.
Irie.
Irie?
Yeah, so
Irie.
Japanese, that's 3 syllables. Because it's I, re, a, e. Irie.
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 Yeah, Irie.
Irie.
Irie. Irie Clinic.
Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint! Mint!
Yeah.
I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting
How
room
much of a
until...
mint can you make in a small town like Hinamizawa?
$4? Maybe?
Freshly minted. $4 bill. Not counterfeit at all.
No. Never counterfeit. Until it was my turn to be seen. Well, let me...
Sure, go ahead.
Marabara-san, please make your way to the examination room.
Please save that voice for an echo.
Oh.
It's coming. No, don't like reserve it. Like keep it in your mind.
Just remember how to do it.
Yeah.
After properly answering all the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. That's a lot for a cold. I thought it was a little overboard, but
Yeah,
if
you
it
go.
would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it. Keiichi, you are depressed. You better be depressed into the grave.
You're fucking stupid.
Don't you love doing this with me?
Retarded.
I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word.
Must have been an Onikakushi.
Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped.
With whom?
That man from Tokyo who visits every season. That young one with the big camera. Didn't you know that they were getting along pretty well?
Were they talking about Tomatake Flash? Couldn't be. I could feel my ears perking up.
I don't know about that. But you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something.
It is an envelope because they didn't leave
Elope,
an
not envelope.
Envelope. It is an elopement because they didn't leave a note or a message.
Well, thought I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad.
Tanako-san is an upstanding young...
Takano, not
Takano.
Takano.
Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes.
So her name was Takano, right?
Yeah.
Takano? Takano-san. That woman with Tomatake Flash. And she worked at this clinic? Oh yeah, Shiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, or deity, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. I fucking murdered my voice on that. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. This is where they try and run him over. Was I really walking so far into the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still talking around me. Or talking? Honking at me. I turned around, peeved.
Mayabara-san.
The boy! It was Oyashiro-sama? Oishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me.
What? Mike Wazowski. What is up today? School on break?
Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home.
That's great. That's great. Great. I don't. So
Great.
Great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together? If you're not feeling up to it, then don't mind me.
I was just gonna lie down after going home anyways. And I didn't really have a cold.
Anyway. Not anyways. Anyways isn't a word.
I'm gonna sharpen each one of my teeth, and the next time you walk in here, I'm gonna rip your fucking jugular out, okay? Just remember that. Remember this moment in time when I'm ripping your fucking jugular out with my bare teeth.
It'll come armored.
You'll come armored?
I just need chainmail to fucking block your teeth.
You gotta get shark armor?
Just need leather. Just put a leather collar on.
I'm not even gonna say anything else. This conversation ends right there. This conversation ends right there. Nothing else is said. We're done. That's it. Do not go anywhere else. You can't just say that. You can't just come in here and say
I'm
that.
just protecting my jugular here.
Oh, just the jugular? Just the jugular? Nothing else going on over there?
Yeah.
Nothing
threatened me, so I'm
protecting. Just protecting the jugular. No ulterior motives to
Of course
that.
not. Why would I ever have
No.
an ulterior motive?
Why would that be there? What a very silly thing for me to suggest. I fucking hate it here. I fucking hate it here.
Where's the world going in? When can we get rid of all this shit?
I doubt you'd want to eat at one of these local
That's-
places.
That's
No?
pretty sure that's...
Oh, you're right.
I thought you would want to eat at one of these local places. Let's go on to town. It's a bit of a drive. Is that alright? I know a pretty good place.
I'd finally begun to understood why Oishi-sama. Holy shit. I'd finally...
You sure you don't got anything going on?
I'm fucking losing it over here, dude. I'd finally begun to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. Oishi's a boy.
That is his
Does he
sex.
die?
Does he die?
I'm gonna fucking kill him. I hope Oishi doesn't die. I hope he's in every game.
Okay.
I hope he's in all 3 games. These, Umineko, and the
Oh yeah,
next one.
Nomineka.
Yeah, I hope he's in every game.
Yeah.
Even if it might not be this version of Oishi, I hope that there is somebody named Oishi that looks like him in every game. I went with Oishi-san in his riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
See if I can do a voice.
He's gonna get it one of these days.
I'm sorry for calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you?
No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me just by the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeps me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This was where Tomitake Flash died.
They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake-san.
Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye.
They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing at his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads.
You know that thing you see in all the comics all the time? Where there's a drug that if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces? This is you.
It exists. Sokenlithal, something or other. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitake-san to react like that.
Then you're saying that the police concluded Tomitake Flash just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be disassociated from Tomitake Flash's mysterious death.
Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But, putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans.
That made me a bit relieved? Being relieved at that.
Being relieved that it wasn't supernatural.
That he got beat to fucking death by people instead of a magic ghost. Come on, bruh. We passed in front of the rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa, train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot, and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be any children in here in the middle of a weekday.
Do please, no one smoking.
This way, please.
When you are ready to order, please call me over.
Alright.
Change mid-voice. We were led by a peculiar dressed waitress to our table. I sat down with Oishi-san in the booth. They're at Hooters.
So, what do you think? Aren't so Rachel's outfits sheer cute?
They're literally at fucking Hooters. Huh? Well, I guess?
This shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses here than the food you see.
They're at fucking Hooters. Uh-huh. Oishi-san, you're leering.
Am I really?
They're at fucking Hooters. He took a 16-year-old to Hooters.
15. Yes, something like that.
A 15 or 16-year-old
yeah,
to
16-year-old.
Hooters to talk about murder. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some insane topic. Inane. Yep. There's not an S in that. Inane topic, Oishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table.
Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we?
Yeah, that it was the village of man-eating demons, or something like that.
I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning.
That woman is old.
Grandmother, yeah, she's fucking
She
ancient.
is ancient.
My god.
She is ancient. Oishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket.
Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onikakushi, or Ogre's Abyss.
Why have I heard that before? Onikakushi?
Because you've read this before.
That's quite the name. Shut the fuck up, alright?
The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of demons.
Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh.
And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered.
A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was kind of a
Deification.
deification, okay. A village of inhuman creatures.
Seems the demons were seinen, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts, taking villagers with incurable diseases into Ogre's Abyss and healing them, for example.
Even if we were calling them demons,
Tengu.
Tengu long-nosed goblins, or
Seinen.
Seinen?
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 Seinen. Not I pronounce it.
Seinen.
Seinen.
Seinen would be a more apt description. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. Where's the enter key? There it is.
But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my grandmother told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went.
The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling.
Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then you see all the people who lived in Onikakushi. Those demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them.
The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. I told you, it's Hot Fuzz.
The entire village?
Yeah.
In the end,
Oh.
I was the
Oh.
that's so different. Just his skin tone is weird. Alright.
in the end, it seems both the mother and the son were caught and eaten. The end.
There's a problem with this story. Both the witnesses in this story were eaten, so no one would be able to tell the tale.
Huh? There are plenty of old fables like this.
In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee. See?
But, well, there were quite a few other tales. Where the demons from Onikakushi bonded together to capture the play.
I recalled that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction.
That was a bit, yeah. I guess the volume was fine before.
Yeah. A little bit more.
No, that's good.
You sure?
Mhm.
I recalled that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped.
Normally, they hunted down a single person and they chose who was going to be beforehand.
Huh? That caught my attention.
It's
Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant.
my grandmother told me that you must never interfere with
He's gonna get it.
the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide in under the covers. she said.
So, what does this all mean?
It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule.
Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you don't see the atrocities, in other words. What happens if you break the rule?
Well, there are many teen deepens after all.
Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die, when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it. Then, Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes.
What do you think, my brother-son? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please.
That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say the last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking.
Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared.
Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, my Abara-san, I had a bit, really just a bit, okay? But background checking done on them.
If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't.
This might sound pretty stupid. My Abara-san, if you feel that it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop.
Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Geiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth. Please. That was all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began.
The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations.
Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up.
In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? Say here the daughter.
Sadako.
Her name was Sadako Hojo-san.
Rat! Huh? Sadako, meaning Sadako. Oishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down.
The Shinto priest and his wife, who died in the third year, you see. Their daughter is Rika Furure.
Whoa, never would have guessed. Rika-chan was...
The housewife who died in the fourth year, you know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, as she had lost both of her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house.
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way up to my feet.
The one who disappeared the fourth year. By the way, he was Satoko-san's older brother.
Just give me a second. It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. But Oishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard.
All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends.
That has to just be a coincidence.
Maebara-san, keep it down. Everyone's looking.
Mion? Sadako? Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends. It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rina is different, isn't she? Rina isn't connected with the victims at all.
Rina Ryugu-san was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims.
He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away from Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows.
Rina did that? She broke all the windows at her school. That same silly Rina had? I couldn't even imagine it.
It seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication.
I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown.
Might want to look that up at some point.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality.
In the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rina-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that.
What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama.
Dun dun dun!
God, I love the cues.
It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Orashiro-sama before she had even come to Hinamizawa?
It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her.
My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told.
A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Oh, that's right. She's not an outsider.
Huh?
According to the residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rina-san moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school.
My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
Maebara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop?
Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here. Now I understand, Rena. Then, how about the last victim, Tomatake Flash? Who was he connected with? Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
All of them. Have you forgotten, Maebara-san? Didn't you all spend the night at the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves.
Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush. So real quick, it couldn't have been them that killed Tomatake.
Yeah?
Because when Keiichi left Tomatake, he immediately ran into the boys.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that Tomatake would have died like 10, 15 minutes after he got together with the boys. Because they said it was basically right after he left him.
Mm-hmm.
So how the fuck would Keiichi have been with the boys and the boys kill Tomatake? I'm not saying the parents couldn't be involved or whatever, but...
None of them have... No. Most of them don't have parents.
Okay, well... I don't see how it could have been them. Unless... But they wrote... Yeah. Because
He went home with Rina and Mion.
Yeah.
And Sadako and Rika went home separately.
Went back.
And go with them. And they left
Okay, so
Mion
the,
sometime on the way home.
So the way that I interpreted it was that Keiichi left Tomatake, met up with the boys.
And they instantly met up with boys.
Yeah. And then they hung out like 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. And then Tomatake died while they were together, and then they all fucked off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was like. That's the way that I interpreted that.
Okay.
So I'm saying I don't think it's the boys.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, then Mion could have had like a surprise marker or some shit that would have like, I don't know, had drugs on it or whatever. But they drew on
surprise marker.
Yeah, they drew on his shirt. They didn't draw on him.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about hallucinogenics, right? She could have had like a fucking magic marker that's laced with hallucinogenics.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Anything's possible, bro.
Well, it was like this. Everybody used the same magic marker.
Yeah. But I'm saying she could have fucked it up before she used it and was like, all right, we're killing Tomatake. Fuck this dude. And then fucking Drawn was like, hey, here. And then all of them are like, haha, he dies to the magic marker. And then Keiichi is like, magic marker go brrr.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. But they drew on his shirt. They didn't draw like on him.
Mm-hmm.
Just spitballing.
We should get going. Ah, my Abada-san, did you take your afternoon medicine?
I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Ba-dump. That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain I had heard Tomatake Flash's scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car.
I'll drop you off at your house. You miss school because you are ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation.
Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop.
Not that. Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Uishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? Because you're the main character. I knew nothing, and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Oishi-san, as I was part of Mion's circle of friends.
I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light.
So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them. Oishi-san didn't really give me a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings.
This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. My Abada-san, you're the one in danger.
Huh? I wanted to reply with that was absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Onikakushi next year. So I want to settle things.
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim.
I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again, or so I was told. This is the pressure I am facing.
Pressure from what?
Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine?
I told you. I know I keep saying it, but it's hot fuzz, dude. After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside of the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears.
I won't mind if you just forgot everything I told you today. But I'm still gonna keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sana's curse this year.
So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens?
It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, my brother-son.
I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi's roundabout way of saying it.
Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all of this at you while you are taking the day off because you're sick.
I didn't really give any sort of response.
I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now.
If I'm Mayabara, I'm literally talking to Oishi like every day. Anything that happens, I'm calling Oishi. I don't care.
Okay.
Because I remember being annoyed or just being boggled at like how little he talks to Oishi or how little he tells him. Like, what? Jesus Christ, huh? like when we're at lunch, right? And he says all this shit. You know what I'm immediately bringing up? Oh yeah, Rena came into my house and stood in front of my door and eavesdropped on my the whole conversation we had the other night.
Does he have any proof for that though?
His dad?
His dad just said she came in. He doesn't know when she left.
She came in, which means she was in the house.
She was in the house, but how long?
Why does that matter? She was in the house.
Maybe she came in, saw if he was on the phone, and left.
He never heard the door open, and he doesn't.
The door was
doesn't.
Cracked.
Was it cracked?
Yeah, I mean it's a paper like I don't know if they discussed this, but it's
right?
a paper door
that you can see through.
Not see through, but you can hear through it for sure.
Yeah. Nah, bro, I'm Rena in that situation. I come in. I'm crazy, right? I'm a whack job. I'm a complete maniac. I kill people for fun, right?
Rena kills people for fun.
I put razor blades in my friend's jelly donuts. You know how it goes. I walk in the house. I see this outside motherfucker talking to someone that sounds like a goddamn cop, repeating all this sus-ass information. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna eavesdrop the whole damn time. And then leave the second it sounds like his conversation's winding down. I mean, listen to what Keiichi did with the old woman at the hospital. She's doing that same shit. Rena's crazy enough to do it.
They were talking about a nurse that just apparently eloped.
Yeah, but Oishi was like, or not Oishi, Kei-chan was like, Oyashama's curse? Oyashama? Yeah, I'm saying she was there the whole damn time. I would have already told him that shit.
Okay.
Bro, I would have told him so much damn shit. I would have told him the interaction I had on the road before I went back. I would have told him that shit. Fuck you. Dude, this motherfucker's getting my personal goddamn diary of my day-to-day. You kidding me? I ain't holding the goddamn words back from this dude. I'm telling him fucking everything. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in the shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim than just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just the bait dangling off of the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait will be swallowed whole. Damn it! I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind the AC from the car.
He runs it so high that it just condensates constantly.
Yeah, of course.
They stop for a minute,
Yeah.
and there's a puddle.
He's a big man! Dude, you're a big guy like that? You could be naked and sweating your ass off. And then on top of that, you gotta wear that damn suit? You know how fucking hot suits are? And you're a big dude? Fuck yeah! I'd be running that shit on max too! Motherfucking boulder looking ass? Hell yeah. I wonder how much time had passed since I'd laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it. It's Rena. Rena Pog. Hello, this is the Mayabara residence.
No, that's Mion.
Is it Mio?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, he's alive. Hello, this is Mion. How are you doing? Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi is resting now, but shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry. Idiot. You fell for it. Huh? Kei-chan! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except, I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. Mion. I'm relieved that you seem well. Rena was really worried, you know. Sadako-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said how unfortunate he's sick. Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it. Well, you know. So, Kei-chan, is now a bad time to come pay you a visit? A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them, so I'll bring you some. Hey now, you'll catch my cold. Not to worry, both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See you. Be there in a bit. So it's Mion that tries to kill him with the jelly donuts.
It's Mion's grandma who made the dough.
Wait, but don't they reveal that Rena made him? I guess I'm gonna have to keep hitting enter, huh? She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion. See, this is the part where Mion opens the door and shoots Keiichi in the face and just fucking kills him, and then leaves. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? I did just that.
Thank goodness you look well. I was worried.
Worried. Sorry. I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. Yeah?
So I just don't know why he switched. Well, you expect like the new sprites to have some hidden meaning behind them?
I don't know, I'm just taking a look, you know, just give it a peep.
You like how small they are compared to Ryukishi's sprites too?
Yeah, they're
like,
fucking
they're
tiny.
minuscule.
Yeah. Ryukishi's sprites take up like 50% of the fucking screen, and these are like, hey, we're barely on the screen. I still don't know why they didn't give me on a gun.
Because they're cowards.
Because they're cringe. They are fucking cowards. This is Mion, yeah?
Yeah.
I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. Huh? You don't say. It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen.
Then here, Keiichi-kun, These are the mochi Mei-chan's grandma made.
Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion.
Yeah. There's one more. There's one that I made in there as well. I wonder if Keiji-kun can guess which one.
It is Rena who tries to kill him. This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you come here for club activities? Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow. Man, what are you gonna do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
Mei-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry.
Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entrance was a mess. You're right. Let's get going. Ah, by the way, Kei-chan. Yeah? What did you eat for lunch? The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. Give me the funny Mion eyes. Yeah! Pog. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all what I ate. I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied.
So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun.
The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. Me and the fucking girls did. It was now sharp, as if it was to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew that's how it looked to me. Well, was it good? Why are you asking me this? Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone. Oh, the Mion voice I've been doing the whole time is the Mion voice here. Almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. This is Mion still, right?
Yeah.
Seems like you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale.
Oh, Keiichi-kun, who was he? Could it be the person from before? I wonder.
I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything? How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? It seems like you've got pretty worked up over it, too. We weren't talking about you guys. It didn't have anything to do with you, or Rena.
Isn't that a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that?
Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like it was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had just to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down.
That's true. We should both head back home. As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I had dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare. As if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was about to close, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak. Thank you, Manga Gamer. Sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan. Yeah. I'd hate it if you miss school tomorrow, alright? Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after their low laughter died off into the distance and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. I'm calling Oishi. Right now, I'm calling Oishi.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first thing I'm calling Oishi right now. That's the first thing I'm doing. I don't care what's happening. I know where it goes from here. But I'm calling Oishi right now.
Okay.
I am immediately calling Oishi. I'm going, they were in school and somehow knew that we went and got lunch. They already knew that we talked about them. They have literally known everything from the start.
Okay.
Send help. Help me. What the fuck am I supposed to do? And then I go downstairs. I don't even eat that mochi. After that, I don't even eat that shit. I throw it in the garbage. I don't even eat it.
Okay.
I don't even fuck with it. It goes in the trash. I don't even open it. I don't even like cut it open, cut it open and be like, oh, there was a razor blade. No. I don't do any of that shit. I don't even fucking touch it. It goes right in the fucking garbage. And I come up with some bullshit that I couldn't figure out which one was Rena's tomorrow.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. I ain't doing none of the shit that Keiichi does. They knew what Oishi-san and I talked about. Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing, and they were warning me that was unnecessary? What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole. As well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Sadako, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they're warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare, but for some reason, it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head.
Jeez. What a fucking visual.
I forgot this isn't on voice mod, so I can't play the laugh track button. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen. so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. Long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Sadako was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that's just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san and Tomatake Flash, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Oishi-san that Mion, Rena, Sadako, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everyone's changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Oishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. And I even shouldn't have heard about the past incidents from Tomatake Flash the night of the Watanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity. If I just hadn't... That's right. So that's why it's censored? Manga Gamer censored Toma...
I don't think it's... Look.
Is it...
What is it, L? It's just blanked out.
It's just blanked out? So what, we're not going to imply what they did to Tomatake? Or what happened to him? Alright. So that's why they blanked Tomatake Flash. That impudent outsider speaking of the likes of me after everyone went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They'll probably redacted Oishi-san as well, for trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course, a guy like that's gonna be blanked. Both Tomatake Flash and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Oyashiro-sama's curse and just blank.
He's just kind of censoring himself, the death and kill and die in his head because he's kind of losing it here.
It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault.
And then he just stops his thought there.
It wasn't their fault.
It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. He wasn't thinking about Booba there at all. What are you doing?
Geichi's kind of McFrickin' losing it here, huh? I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, bright as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them, after all. That reminds me. I need to eat those mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made. He's fucking losing it. I remembered the homework that the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did deliver. That was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh. This was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrappings, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right. On the newspaper, A, B, C, D, and E. Now then, they said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So, well, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out. Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's. Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remember correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. She probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning the one Rena made was this one, E. For a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap. Smile. Alright, my tea's ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. Huh, not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. So if you swallow a razor blade, do you just die?
Pretty much, because well, first of all, if you bite on it, it's going to fuck up your teeth and mouth, so you're not going to swallow it. You're probably not going to swallow it. That's why razor blades and apples are so fucked up, because you're biting into it and it goes...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
But if you swallowed it, it would slice up your insides and you would die from internal bleeding.
Okay. So it's basically... They're trying to fuck him up here. They're not trying to kill him. They're trying to rough him up.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Motherfucker, we've read this chapter.
We've read this chapter. I can neither confirm nor deny the motives
I'm gonna kill you.
of
Rena Ryugu?
Rena Ryugu's motives.
Now how about Rena's?
Of her mochi.
The creation was just so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first, a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factor would be presentation and volume. The well-formed...
Presentation!
That's Senator Armstrong, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I was doing Megamind.
Oh, that's also a good shout. Yeah. No, that is Megamind. Okay. I hear that and I thought about Armstrong's speech where he fucking kicks the dude in the face on top of the thing where he talks about how to be an American.
I don't think he said presentation there, but okay.
That's what I defaulted to. And
then
then I went to
I thought he
Megamind.
just he said he played college ball.
You're right, he does. Okay. I went there and then I went to Megamind. So I was halfway right. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena, the challenger, with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had one bite of Rena's. I probably would have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. It seemed my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What? What was this? I can't hit enter. Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own action. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act and remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first, I thought it was a hair. Oh, that's right, it's a needle.
That's what he feels in his mouth.
So what would happen if you swallowed a needle?
It would not instantly. I wouldn't imagine it would cause as much damage, but I mean it's a pointy object. I mean, what happens when you swallow a sharp piece of chip?
Yeah, but that's a chip. When it gets in your stomach, it dissolves. This is a needle.
Well, it's a needle, so yeah, it would be. I don't know. It would not be good.
You guys shit out a needle?
Got to shit out a needle. Probably. I don't know what would happen. You'd probably have to get surgery for that.
I'm gonna Google it after this.
Okay.
I'm gonna Google what happens if you swallow a needle. At first, I thought it was a hair, even though it was shorter than Mion's. Rena's hair was still quite long, and it wasn't this short. It also was a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of metallic sheen on one end of it. Ah yes, there was a hole for where thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yeah, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh. What did I mean by it looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer. But a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if it was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my mouth, and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct words, my hands were already on the move. Splat. Plop. Splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I would have called Oichi by now.
Dude, he's freaked the fuck out right now.
I would have called Oichi. But as I said, I wouldn't even have gotten to this point, because I would have thrown the mochi away. That shit would have gone in the trash. After getting a threat like that from Mion and Rena, mochi in the garbage. I'll take a look at them and just take a guess and then throw them shits away. I ain't eating that. I don't give a fuck who it's from. Fuck you. Trash. I ain't dying today, bitch. Like, goddamn. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or a warning or a reminder. Nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and the others, they consider me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if being drawn into a billowing, bottomless marsh. So this is where Chad Keiichi gives them a reason to kill him. He starts going out, breaking shit, beating people up.
Goes breaks into all the windows at his school.
Yeah, it's like that one tweet where it's like, you know, you go to hell if you've sinned once. Why not sin 100,000 times and come down a legend?
Alright, tips time. What's a drug that makes you commit suicide? I think we're gonna have like a bunch of... Oh no.
Let's go to the chase. Is there a drug that causes someone to kill themselves? Not...
Oichi? You want me to do it?
No.
Okay.
Not directly, no. So that's quite a roundabout response. You're saying there's ones that does it indirectly. Something that puts you in a suicidal mental state like that. So it's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be? Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder. It's believed. Wow, all over the place.
All over the fucking moon.
Yeah. It's believed that some people
are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania.
Oh, mania.
Mania. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressive state accompanied by a very active mental mania state.
Mania state. Or maniac.
Manic.
Manic? Like a manic Monday?
Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic but rarely commit suicide. They do not have the willpower to commit suicide, nor does the mania on its own lead to suicide. That has the opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they are walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. That's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so. Do so. There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have a willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower and the body moves as they desire. I see. So it means they gain the willpower to commit suicide. That's how it goes. That's why patients are given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses. Then was Tomotaki bipolar? People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide by more civilized means, like, say, hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm, as though going through withdrawal is completely different. Tomitaki's death wasn't civilized. So one would think that it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide. There are reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. It is a stimulant. Barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid. There were no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities? All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness. Something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own. The disease exhibited none of them. The deceased exhibited none of them. I wonder, is there something that could happen more spontaneously? Something that fits this case and would cause someone to commit suicide all of a sudden. Are you familiar with organic mental disorders? In short, it is a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness. It can be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, encephalitis, a stroke, or even tumors. Basically, even without the drug, one could succumb to an irregular mental state. The deceased was surrounded by after being chased, and his life was in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry and I can't control my tongue. Brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It is a possibility. Could you explain it to me in simpler terms?
Poor Oishi. He's stupid.
Basically, he knocked his noggin and blah, and that made him go haywire. Then his lady didn't have an intent to kill, just smacked him in a bad place when he nicked some change. The two plump men laughed hoarsely. But of course, it's not like that. Ahem, undoubtedly.
Yeah, it's definitely Oichi the first.
Yeah. If it was habitual drug use, if it was something mental, the deceased body's body holds the key. How are things on your end? Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back soon or Kuma-chan will get angry with me. Yeah, good luck. Best wishes. Best wishes. I don't know what it is about the rush, the oishi, that just makes me feel like my mouth just doesn't work. Threat.
Is this on the newspaper?
Huh? Those guys just now. They had national diet badges.
Then it's prefectural assembly member and city councilor Sonozaki.
That's interesting. The prefectural assembly member and city councilor are related. It's dirty is what it is.
Oh, I guess it was opposite.
Shouting out each other's name during elections. While one is up for election, the other holds an assembly, and they double up the campaign activities blatantly. I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election? As long as they have no prior consultation, there are no restrictions on their political activities. Kuma-chan, the investigation division is going to be pretty tough for you. You should at least brush up on election policies.
I'm not suited for the intelligence division. These are two different people. The last person that you were talking to.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm dumb.
There was prefectural assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki. Also, the mayor of Hinamizawa. All of them involved with the Sonozaki family. What crap. Oops.
Oh yeah, Sonozaki is Mion.
Mm-hmm. It looks like they were seen off by the department chief and deputy chief. It came to me that night when the chief invited me along to get some Odin. I thought that was it.
In all great stories in Japan, all threats occur at random food stands in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like Yakuza 0,
Uh-huh.
this. Fucking, that's all I know it from. Like, even a little bit in like John Wick 3, when he recruits the chairman and all that.
You have a lot of connections, so you might have heard something, did you?
You can do this guy.
Nope, not a thing.
Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and fish cake. A counselor barked at me and the police chief stared.
Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl.
Prefectural assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Oh, I guess they're both the Sonozakis. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't even handle. No, probably not. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't even handle being yelled at by them.
Yeah, this
So,
is
like,
Oichi.
Yakuza.
This is Oichi and the other guy.
Yeah.
Or Oishi.
A petition?
No, I don't know.
That's me.
That's you.
A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of the Hinamizawa incident is being handled.
Goodness me. I've not the faintest.
No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa, aren't you?
I've already got my hands full with Tomataki's death, actually.
My bad.
Really? If that's true, then there's no problem.
There was a period of silence.
Oh, there was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drink. Phew, that was quite the feast. This mouse has been a This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet is feeling the pinch. Much appreciated.
Nah, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you.
I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read these horses at all. Taxi! I'm going by train. The police chief is taking a taxi.
Oh, we were backwards.
Nope.
No?
No, nah, haha. That's. I'm pretty sure that's Oishi.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have my own car, but it would be rash to drive it home. Can't blow it right after retirement. Can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI. DUI. Even though he could still rattle off it, looked like his legs were already goo. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the police chief's address. Bill, see you again tomorrow. Happy New Year.
Oishi-san.
Yeah.
The past incidents have all been closed.
He's drunk off his rocker.
Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers half believe it's really a curse.
Well, I'm not convinced.
You're going to be retiring next year, aren't you? Weren't you going to pay off your mortgage with your pension and move up to Hokkaido with your mom?
Mother pines to return to the land of her birth. It's the least I can do. And the pension, well, it'll let me enjoy myself in Susukino.
The police chief may issue a special retirement salary raise, he says.
A public servant's pension is calculated based off their monthly salary. So if you were to get a raise right before retirement, your bonus to your salary would be inflated. And you'd get a heavy surplus of funds. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not a custom that is thought of highly. The difference between the bonus and the pension is quite a bit. I'd expect nothing less exemplary from our egghead chief, but, well, they say our salary is compensation for our hard work, but in the end it really has just has to do with the passage of time. It's not something I can laugh at, but I'll laugh through it anyway.
I don't think it's anything exemplary. But given how hard you've worked, it's not odd that you're getting that much of a pension. I'd like to get that much myself.
If I can get it, well, of course I'd want it.
You'll get it. You're an adult, after all.
Sorry for holding up. Here, driver. Thank you very much. Closed the door roughly, interrupting the chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like the chief still had something to say, but he just smiled wryly and waved. I waved in return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared among the sea of lights. Oh man, I wonder if I can really repay that loan.
When do we get the thing where Oishi just calls the chief a cocksucker? And that's the end of it. The Oishi cocksucker chapter.
I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny that he calls the police chief a cocksucker.